Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this one we're going to do the lab 13 for Azure monitor service, and this is really part of the AZ500 Azure Security Technologies series of labs by Microsoft Learning. They have a GitHub account. If you go in there, they have multiple repos for AZ500. Make sure that you're using the right repo. These series of labs, they were updated very recently, as recent as like only 7 days back. So some of these labs, they were updated recently to reflect the various changes that we have on the Azure portal. So we have already completed all 12 labs, and now we are focusing on the monitor. Okay, so let's just get started. In this one, we're going to do a POC, and we want to configure a virtual machine such that the telemetry and logs can be collected, which is important, and show that what telemetry and logs can be collected, and finally show how the data can be used and queried. So it's going to be a really interesting and good one for you to learn. So we have one exercise really with 5 different tasks. We're going to deploy the Azure virtual machine, and then create a log analytics workspace. And this workspace is where we're gonna enable the log analytics virtual machine extension. We're gonna enable that in the virtual machine, and this extension will be sending all the logs back to the log analytics workspace. And once we have everything, we can query the data that is being collected in the log analytics and see what is going on. So let's just go to the Azure portal, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna do this job using the PowerShell. So this is a new resource group, should create a new resource group for us. And if you have been following these labs, you probably already know about it. So let's just come down over here. Let's get connected to our PowerShell. And once it is available to us, what we want to do is run this command, and that is gonna create this lab AZ500 AB131415. That's interesting lab group name. Alright, so this resource group will be used for lab 13, 14 and 15. So that is why they have 13, 14 and 15. Alright, that's good. Next, what we're gonna do in the PowerShell session within the Cloud Shell pane, we're gonna run this command. So this is gonna know new Azure VM. You know that means we're gonna deploy Azure virtual machine. We're gonna deploy to East US. We're gonna call the network as VNet. Subnet we're gonna call my subnet. Then security group, we're gonna create one my network security group. And we're going to assign a public IP address and open port 80 and port 3389. So copy this one. So that is what I call the infrastructure as code. And user name and password, we're going to get this username and provide here. And for the password for the user, we're going to use our most secure password, and that would be this, and hit enter. And this VM should be deployed in a very short period of time. Now wait for the deployment to complete, and then what we will do, we'll make sure that the VM is actually deployed, and we're going to run this command get easy name my VM. Okay, so while this is going on, I'm going to go to my GitHub account real quick, and I'm going to go to the cheat sheet, and that cheat sheet I have for the Azure CLI. Let's maybe create a file and do PowerShell cheat sheet.ps1. So I'm just gonna save some stuff in here, so that not this. but these three commands, they're pretty useful. So I'm going to copy this, put it in here, then I'm going to copy this, put it in here, and the next one that I want to put and save in my own repository would be this one, and there we go. And I'm gonna save this so that I can get back to these commands whenever I want pretty easily. So come down over here, and I'm just gonna commit the new file. Although this repo I initially started for the Azure CLI, well actually I forked this particular repo from another person who created, and I just kind of maintain and add stuff in here. So looks like this VM deployment is done, so we can continue with the lab. So to create log analytics, looks like we're going to create it from the portal. So let's just go to the portal, look for log analytics workspace, Control V, and click on that one, and then hit create to get started with the log analytics workspace creation. And we're going to select this resource group, and then so that is going to be 13, 14, 15, name LA test 776. Okay, so and I'm going to put it in the East US. Come on, East US, here we go. And then pricing tier, there is only one available to me, so you have to go with that one and just say review and create, and that should give you the log analytics workspace that you can use to collect all kinds of data. So we're done with that task, and then we're going to enable the log analytics virtual machine extension. So once you do that, that extension will be able to send all the log analytics data back to the workspace. So we're gonna go down to the workspace, and we're gonna go to the workspace data source and go to the virtual machine. So right now you would see that this deployment is done. So what you need to do, data source is what you are looking for, and workspace data sources. So if you click on that one, now it's saying, hey, there is a virtual machine. It's deployed in the East US, and is now checking for the log analytics connection. And once, if you give it a minute, it will say that it's not connected. Okay, so what you can do, you can hit, so it's checking the status. Once the status is done checking, if it's not connected, you will have this connect button. It will be available to you, and you will be able to hit that button to install the log analytics connector in this particular virtual machine. So and make sure that your machine is running. So you have other machines where you want to install it, and if they're not running, then you cannot install it. So what we will do, we are going to give it a minute or so. It still says loading, and once loading is done, we're going to continue this lab. So give me a minute. Alright, it's taking a long time, looks like, to figure out the log analytics connection. I restarted the virtual machine once, and still not really giving me the status of the log analytics in here. So the other thing that I can do, let's go to the virtual machine itself and see if we can enable the log analytics from here. So if you come down here to the virtual machine itself and go down to monitoring, there is one over here, monitor at scale with insights, get alerts to issues, and over here get started with log analytics. So we can click on that one, and if you come down there, you have an enable button. So let's just try that one. So once you clicked on the enable button, it's now saying the VM is not connected to any workspace. Please select the monitoring workspace, and I know that we created one, the test East US. So hit enable, and now it's enabling the initializing the deployment. So we did that just a little bit differently, but if you are here and if you see the connect button, you can click on the connect button from there as well. Within the log analytics, you will get the same thing. So now this activation may take just a little bit of time, so just give it a minute or so, and once this is done, we'll continue to the next phase and configure the data collection, virtual machine event and performance data, and how we'll see how you can get the data and send it to the log analytics workspace that we have. So give me a minute. Alright, it looks like the activation is now successful. If you look at this, deployment is successful now. So what we can do, we can go to the resource group if you like, and then go back to virtual machine, and from monitor you can also look at what is going on. If you click on, well, this one we have already enabled this one, so I was expecting to see something different. So what we'll do, rather going to the virtual machine, we're just going to go to the log analytics workspace and see if now our workspace can identify our machine as a connected device. So let's see, virtual machine, and finally we were able to connect the my VM, okay, that is connected to this particular workspace. So what is this VM? AZ510 VMware. So this is something else that we did not connect. So let's just try to find that VM, see if we have anything like that. So no, that's probably something that I have deployed in a different subscription. It's just showing up over here for some reason. So that's actually under lab resource group AZ500 lab 10. So we are going to work on this one. This is the VM that we wanted to connect, and if you click on that one, you see that this is connected. Status is connected to this workspace. Now if we want to disconnect, I can click on the disconnect button, and that is the name of the workspace. So everything looks good from inside the log analytics workspace. So what we can do next, within the log analytics workspace, we can go to the setting, and we can go to the agent configuration. So over here, our setting, and then agent configuration. If you click on this one, then what you can do for Windows event log and if Windows performance counter, you can get stuff. So you can click on this, and let's see which one we want to add for this particular exercise. So on the agent configuration, review the configurable settings, including Windows event logs, Windows performance counter, Linux performance counter, and IIS logs and syslog. So over here, as you see, you have the Windows and the Windows performance counter. Now this is a Windows machine, that's why you are seeing this too, but you have other things available here as well. And if you actually drop it down, those will show up in a single line. So what, for this lab, we're gonna add some Windows event logs, and we're gonna select the system, and then hit add. So over here, Windows event log, and well, that's all we need. So let's just delete this one. So first we need to select what kind of, we need hardware events or key management service. Let's see which one that we really need for this one. Okay, we need to select the system, so let's just copy this one. So come back over here, so system, so this is the system log, and usually information is probably too much to log, so just log error and the warning, and make sure that's what they want, error and warning, and deselect the information checkbox. Okay, so that we have now configured properly, and I'm just doing some tab, and what I'll do, I'll just hit apply. So this agent is now configured to collect the Windows event log and the system logs really. So the next, we're gonna go down to Windows performance counter, and we're gonna select a few performance type logs from Windows Performance. So let's see if we can quickly search for this one, and I don't have anything like that under performance. So let's see. No. Okay, so let's just copy this one and paste the whole thing in here. Again, it does not have anything exactly matching this. So process, so this is probably the one that we were looking for. Processor time, yeah, we got this one. And sample rate, I'm gonna use the default one, and then hit add. Let's do the next one, event tracing Windows total memory usage. Let's see if we can find that one. So hit enter. No page pool, I think that's what they are saying, non-page pool, and we're gonna do the same thing with the paged pool. So come back over here again, add performance counter, paste it, and we're gonna get the paged pool. So that's all we need. Hit apply. So that configuration is now done. On the agent configuration blade, click apply. So that's pretty much it. We have configured log analytics workspace, we installed the log analytics agent, and we have configured what to collect. We're going to collect the system logs, and for the performance we're going to collect 3 different kind of logs: processor time and total memory usage, both non-paged and paged pool. Now finally, what you need to do, you need to be able to view and query the collected data. So we're gonna go to the logs, and the logs will allow you to do queries, and most of the queries you can, it uses the Custo language. So you will be given to this particular page with some sample queries. You can run all those queries and build from there, but for our lab we're gonna get rid of it. And here you can really type any query you like. So here, look at that. So you can also review the predefined queries. They're actually saying look at the predefined queries and select memory and CPU usage, and click the run button. So predefined queries, let's see. Well, what we'll do, we'll go back here, go back to the logs one more time. So this one is going to bring up the predefined queries. So let's see if I can quickly find, I think it was CPU, memory and CPU usage. So we can run this one, but I don't expect to see too much of data because this machine has not been running for very long. But this is the query that you are actually running, and that's you have the UI or quickly defined queries that you just hit run, and if you have anything, that data will show up in here, usually as records. You will see multiple records. And if you look at this data, this is again the Custo type query. It kind of looks like SQL, at least to me. If you read, it makes sense. So give me the performance where time generated is more than one h means 1 hour ago. So if I do 1 second ago and run this, let's see what I get. I still don't have anything. And here it's saying where computer name is the processor, counter name is the processor time, and instance name is total, or counter name is used memory. Then it's doing a summarization of the data, average, counter value, and it's averaging and grouping by counter name, and some more stuff in here. And at the end, it's also rendering a chart, so we would expect to see a chart in here. Now, as I said, change that to last hour and see if you have anything. Yeah, so you just don't. So this one, keep it as H and run. And so you can change your hour from here as well. Last 30 minutes, run. So right now I don't have any logs to show you. So come back over here and again read some of the notes. Log analytics uses Custo query. We talked about this one. The results of the query you selected are automatically displayed below. to rerun, we have already looked at that one. Since this virtual machine was just created, there may not be any data yet, so that's what we experienced. You have the option to displaying data in different formats. You can also have option of creating an alert rule based on the results of the query. And finally, you can generate some additional load on the Azure virtual machine you deployed earlier in this lab by using the following step. So maybe we can try that. We can go to the Azure VM blade, then go to operations, run command script. So let's come back to home, and what we'll do, we'll try to go to that particular virtual machine and just search for run command. Let's just type run. Here is your run command, and here we are gonna run a script. So let's see which one to use. PowerShell script is probably the one we're gonna end up using. So let me see what kind of run command script. So do we have a run command script? I don't see a run command. I have a run PowerShell script. That's the only run I have. I'm just going to try the PowerShell script and see if that would let me run my command. In the operations section, run command script, and you get this script. So let's see if PowerShell would be able to run this one. I do not know. So let's try run, and it says script execution in progress. Maybe it is able to run this one. So let's see what happens. So come back to over here, switch back to log analytics blade and rerun the query. You might need to wait a few minutes for the data to be collected and rerun the query again. So over here we can open it in a new tab, go to our log analytics workspace. Where is my log analytics workspace? Again, I'm gonna go back there, go to the workspace that we are working with, and we can go to the logs, and in here we were working with CPU. Let's see, memory and CPU usage. Let's just run this one, and still I don't have any data yet, so no, still no data. So come back over here, and this one is still executing the script. So come back over here. You use the log analytics workspace to configure data sources and query logs. So I'm gonna give it a minute or so more, and then see if we are getting any data back to the log analytics workspace. So now the data started coming, right? So finally we see the data. So the script is now running, and now you have at least one data point that just showed up. So what I would say, so there is only one entry in the table that we got. So this will take just a little bit of time to get the data back to the log analytics workspace, and once it's there, you will have the individual record under the results tab, and the chart will have a graphical representation with a time chart. So as time moves, it will show like a graph how the data is behaving. You'll be able to see that very nicely. So that is really the end of this lab. Hopefully you have now a little bit of understanding how this Azure Monitor works, and how you can collect various kinds of data from your virtual machines and resources back to the log analytics for further analysis. Okay, thank you for watching the video. If you like it, please give me a like, subscribe for more videos, and good luck if you're studying for the AZ 500 exam. Thank you.